Good morning, friends. This morning we are going to talk about a very significant topic, a very important topic that is related to our life, our psychological and physiological conditions due to the growing social media engagement, particularly the algorithm, social media algorithm that is creating a havoc among the youth, and it is leading to radicalization. The social media algorithm is not only leading to radicalization of thoughts and ideas of the youth, it is also hazardous. It is multi-step psychological mechanism. First of all, we should know why social media algorithm is hazardous and why it is creating problem among the youth. Let us first understand the problem that social media algorithm has created. Social media algorithm radicalize thoughts and ideas by prioritizing engagement, creating echo chambers, and triggering emotional feedback loops because provocating, outrageous, and extreme centered naturally generates our interaction system goes virus. This system unconsciously optimize for polarization. This process traps user in ideological bubbles, fueling confirmation, bias, and all other, antisocial elements. See, in the recent days, we have seen that the youth have been badly, affected by the the social media algorithm. They are willing to see the same kind of content, provocative and full of hatred, radicalization of thoughts and ideas. So, and the social media has the pattern that it shows only those things which your test demands. So, social media traps you through your test and prioritization, and it creates a kind of provocative and outrageous, you know, yeah, and they start showing you the content which are very provocative, and it generates some kind of radicalization and polarization. This is very dangerous for the nation because the youth are the real power of the nation. If they are not having their own concept of deciding what is right and wrong for the nation and for the people, and if they are affected to such an extent by these contents of the social media, that will lead to a great loss of our human resources, because after all the youth who are going to build the nation, and if they are becoming unconsciously and ideologically radicalized, that will really lead to triggering of their emotion and making them you know somehow fueled with wrong ideas and wrong concept, which is anti-national, anti-social, and anti-human. So the danger, the hazards of the social media is that it shows only those things which you like. It repeats the content, same kind of content. Suppose if a child is interested in you know mm, content which shows violence or content which shows hatred, it will show repeatedly the same kind of content, and it will fuel his emotions towards radicalization. So it is very, very difficult. Algorithm radicalization operates through a hazardous multi-step psychological mechanism. It first goes for engagement optimization. The social media platforms such as Facebook, you know Twitter, and other things, they show only the things which a viewer likes, and algorithm track clicks, likes, and watch time to serve a continuous stream of content tailored to your test. They trap you in through your test. When user react to controversial or highly operational content, the algorithm assumes they want more of it, and the algorithm assumes you that you are willing to see more and more of that kind, leading them down increasingly extreme rabbit holes, and that becomes a very dangerous condition. This is the reason why most of the youth nowadays have have feelings of violence, radicalization. The Gen Zs are now being influenced by these, I mean, ideas, the radicalization of ideas, which is very dangerous for the nation, because the nation wants the youth to be positive, constructive, and they should have their own way of thinking, own perception of thinking. They should not be affected by the radical and hazardous thoughts and the psychological bubbles. So it is very dangerous for the youth now to get trapped into the engagement optimization by algorithm track, and that leads to controversial and highly operational content. The algorithm assumes that you want to see only those things which are full of violence and full of hatred, full of radical thoughts, and then you are trapped in the rabbit holes, and you behave in the same way. You want that you don't have your own consciousness to think what is right and wrong. You are being influenced by that very radical thoughts and that very content. Then filter bubbles and echo chamber. Platforms isolate users from diverse and moderate viewpoint by continuously feeding them information that affirms their existing biasness. Repeated exposure create the illusion that these extreme viewpoints are universal and widely accepted. Actually, the readers and the viewers on social media are of the opinion that whatever is being shown is true, but the fact is that it is not true. It is only the social media trap to make you see those contents more and more, just to increase the viewers, and just to make you engage in that trap, so that the bubbles and echo chambers, the platforms, keep you isolated from the real life. You are in illusion. You are trapped in some sort of ecosystem in which you are not able to decide your own viewpoint, and what to do right and what to do wrong. The existing biasness and repeated exposure creates an illusion in the mind of the youth, and whoever is, I mean, watching this. It is not for the youth only, adults are also affected. These extreme viewpoints are universal and widely accepted. I am not blaming the social media. It is the task of the viewer to understand that those contents which are always provoking your sentiments and making you and leading you to radicalization should not be watched. It is the viewers have to control. The viewers should see only those contents which actually are constructive, positive, and motivational. Not having the viewpoint should not be biased, should not be, and the readers and the viewers should not be in illusion. The extreme points universalization is that you believe that whatever is seen repeatedly, that content, and if it is not, I mean, viable, and it is not congenial for the society, then you should avoid watching that. Amplification of outrage. Negative, fearful, and anger inducing content triggers a strong dopamine reactions in mind, and algorithm exploit this by elevating hyper partition and narratives and misinformation, which spreads faster and deeper than announced or factual information. So friends, actually we have to be very very careful of the the radicalization of algorithm of social media. The social media platforms have been engaging you in such contents that has really made you completely isolated from the real life. This is the reason why there is a national loss. If a young I mean educated person is trapped in the social media algorithm, and he is becoming radical, he will become anti-national. He will not be productive to the society, nor he will be productive to his own family and friends. So that is going to harm us, that is going to create hazards. So naturalization into extremism. Over time, users internationalize these radical viewpoint, abstract, political and social conflicts become their personalized threats, and wrapping their real world identity, community and connections and tolerance for opposing ideas. The readers get so much influence that they don't have any thought and connection with the society and the nation or the people with whom he is living. He gets isolated, and he is becoming totally influenced by the radical viewpoints. Abstract political and social conflicts become his personalized threats, and he is wrapped in the real world, a real world identity. He loses his identity, he loses his own personal touch, he loses his own perception. That becomes really hazardous to the nation, and the youth must be very careful, because this is going to be very dangerous, very hazardous for the nation. The nation needs such, the nation needs such a, caution. The social media platforms, of course everybody watches. The social media platform has this algorithm. We have to be very watchful, very careful. We have to keep ourselves engaged in our own activities, such as reading of text, reading of good, magazine, watching and listening good motivational and educational thoughts, or thinking positively, listening to some of the great philosophers or great, religious, speakers. And we have to also read about the previous history of the people who have really sacrificed their lives for our nation. Then only we will be able to separate these things from our viewpoint and make ourselves a better citizen. Because if we become so much influenced by the radical ideas being shown on the content being shown with the social media algorithm, we will not be able to use our own perception, our own viewpoint, and we will be trapped in the radical thoughts and hatred prone content, which will lead to hazardous conditions. We will be socially isolated, we will be psychologically isolated, we will not be useful to the society, to the nation, to the family, to our own self, and we will be completely single minded. So we have to have the understanding that these social media platforms have the algorithm of showing the things which we repeatedly like, and they trap us in that very rat holes, and they influence us to such an extent that we start getting radicalized or getting isolated from the society and from the day-to-day real life experiences. So friends, we have to be very careful. Thank you. This is Eddie Singh on the channel Is English by Eddie Singh. Thanks a lot.